Chapter 8, The Bible and Science. The Bible and the Origin of the Universe. The Bible, for many, is the fundamental text for understanding the origin of the universe. But what are the answers it provides? The biblical account of creation, contained in the book of Genesis, begins with a phrase that has fueled centuries of theological and philosophical debate. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. In these few but powerful verses, the Bible states that the universe is not eternal but had a beginning, and that this beginning was the result of a deliberate act of creation on God's part. But what exactly does this mean? And how does this view fit with our scientific understanding of the origin of the universe? The Bible does not give scientific details about the creation of the universe. It does not tell us, for example, how God created matter or how He set up the laws of physics. In addition, the Bible does not provide a precise chronology of creation. The seven-day creation account is a poetic and symbolic account, not a literal description of events. However, the Bible tells us some basic things about the origin of the universe. First of all, it states that the universe did not create itself. There is a creator. Second, it states that the universe has a purpose. It is not the result of random events, but was created with an intention. Finally, the Bible states that the universe is good. God looked at everything He had made and saw that it was good. So how can we reconcile the biblical view of the origin of the universe with our scientific understanding? Science tells us that the universe originated about 13.8 billion years ago with the Big Bang. But science cannot tell us why the universe exists or why the laws of physics are what they are. These are questions that go beyond the realm of science and enter the realm of philosophy and theology. The biblical view of the origin of the universe does not conflict with science, but rather complements it. Science can tell us how the universe came into being and how it has developed over time. The Bible, on the other hand, tells us why the universe exists and what its purpose is. The Bible and science thus offer us two complementary perspectives on the origin of the universe. Both are necessary for a complete and deep understanding of the reality in which we live. Both help us grasp the immense beauty and complexity of the universe and reflect on our position and role within it. And both lead us to the same conclusion. The universe is not an accident, but the result of intelligent and loving design. The Bible and evolution. The interaction between religious thought, particularly Christian thought, and the theory of evolution has generated an intense and complex debate over the years. This debate is based on a number of fundamental issues, such as the compatibility between the biblical view of creation and the scientific hypothesis of the evolution of species. In an attempt to reconcile these two seemingly discordant fields, different interpretations have developed. Some argue that the Bible and evolution are incompatible, since the Bible tells of a direct and immediate divine creation, while evolution proposes a gradual and natural process. Others, however, believe that the Bible and evolution can peacefully coexist, since the Bible should not be read as a scientific text, but as a theological and spiritual narrative. The Catholic Church, for example, has adopted an open stance toward evolution. Pope Pius XII, in his 1950 encyclical Humani Generis, stated that Catholics can believe in evolution as long as they do not deny divine intervention in the process. More recently, Pope Francis has reaffirmed the compatibility between faith and science, arguing that God is not a magician, but the creator who gave birth to evolution. However, not all Christians share this view. Some groups, such as creationists, reject evolution and insist on a literal reading of the Bible. For these believers, the theory of evolution is seen as an attack on the truth revealed in Scripture. One of the most controversial points concerns the origin of man. The Bible tells us that God created man in His own image, while evolution holds that man is the result of a long evolutionary process. How can we reconcile these two views? One possible answer is that God's image does not refer to man's physical appearance, but to his ability to love, to know, and to be free and responsible. Another point of tension concerns the question of original sin. If evolution is true, how can we explain the existence of sin in the world? Some theologians propose to interpret original sin not as a historical event, but as an existential reality, a condition of fragility and distance from God that characterizes human experience. Ultimately, the dialogue between the Bible and evolution is a challenge that requires deep reflection and an attitude of openness. It is not a matter of choosing between faith and science, but of seeking a synthesis that respects the truth of both spheres. This search can enrich our understanding of the mystery of God and the mystery of man, showing us an ever greater and more surprising face of God. The Bible and history. In investigating the mystery of God's face, it is inevitable to consider the interaction between the Bible and history. This relationship is complex and multifaceted, revealing how the Holy Scriptures are both a product of their historical context and a text that has influenced and shaped human history. First of all, it is important to understand that the Bible is not a history book in the modern sense of the term. It is not a chronological and objective account of events, but rather a set of narratives, poems, laws, and prophecies that reflect the experiences and beliefs of a people. The Bible is, in essence, a religious text, not a historical text. However, this does not mean that the Bible is devoid of historical value. On the contrary, it provides a valuable picture of the life, culture, and beliefs of the ancient Jewish people. The biblical stories, while often permeated with miraculous and supernatural elements, reveal much about how those people lived, what they considered important, how they viewed the world, and how they understood their relationship with God. At the same time, the Bible has had a profound impact on human history. Its stories and teachings have shaped cultures, laws, philosophies, and belief systems. The Bible's understanding and interpretation have influenced wars, revolutions, social reforms, and political changes. The Bible has inspired art, literature, music, and architecture. In short, human history cannot be fully understood without considering the influence of the Bible. But what role does history play in understanding the face of God? The Bible presents us with a God who acts in history, who interacts with his people through historical events. God delivers the Israelites from slavery in Egypt. God brings his people to the Promised Land. God sends prophets to guide and correct his people. God becomes incarnate in Jesus Christ and lives a human life in a specific historical context. Thus, to understand the face of God, we must consider how God reveals himself in history. However, we must also remember that the Bible is not just a history book. It is a text that transcends time and place, speaking to each generation in new and relevant ways. The face of God that emerges from the Bible is not confined to a particular historical period or culture, but is a face that can be seen and known by all who seek God with an open heart. Thus, although the Bible and history are closely related, history is not the only tool for knowing the face of God. Prayer, reflection, personal experience, faith community, all these are ways through which we can approach the mystery of God's face. And in any case, we must remember that knowledge of God is always partial and incomplete, because God is always greater than we can comprehend or imagine. The Bible and psychology. In exploring the face of God, it is interesting to examine the relationship between the Bible and psychology. These two seemingly distant disciplines can actually interact in deep and meaningful ways, enriching our understanding of faith, humanity, and divinity. The Bible, as the sacred text of Christianity, is a fundamental source of moral and spiritual teaching. It contains stories, prophecies, poems, and teachings that have inspired and guided millions of people over the centuries. Psychology, on the other hand, is the scientific study of the human mind and behavior. It seeks to understand how we function, why we act as we do, and how we can improve our mental and emotional lives. One of the areas where the Bible and psychology can interact is in understanding human nature. The Bible offers a vision of humanity that emphasizes our capacity to love, forgive, and seek justice. At the same time, it recognizes that we are fallen beings, subject to sin and suffering. Psychology can help illuminate these aspects of human nature, providing a tool for understanding how our minds and hearts work. Another area of intersection between the Bible and psychology is the concept of healing. The Bible often speaks of healing, both physical and spiritual, as a gift from God. Psychology, through its study of the mind and behavior, can offer tools for dealing with emotional and mental wounds. In this way, psychology can be seen as a complement to faith, providing tools for healing that are in line with biblical teachings. The relationship between the Bible and psychology can also be explored in the context of prayer and meditation. The Bible encourages prayer as a means of communicating with God and seeking His guidance. Psychology has shown that prayer and meditation can have significant mental health benefits, helping to reduce stress, improve concentration, and promote a sense of inner peace. Finally, the Bible and psychology can interact in understanding the meaning of life. The Bible offers a worldview that gives meaning and purpose to life, while psychology can help explore how these concepts affect our mental and emotional well-being. In summary, the Bible and psychology can enrich each other in many ways. Both offer tools for understanding humanity, suffering, healing, and the meaning of life. Together, they can help us see the face of God more fully and deeply,